Happy hump day, everybody. There it is, live lookout from our tower cam, and you can see we've got moisture in the atmosphere. It's not our crystal clear view that we've had so much of here recently. And we're finally be talking about some rain. My goodness, it has been long enough. 3 weeks, the driest start to one of the driest starts to November on record, the driest stretch on record from October 30th to today. We're 5 inches in the hole for rain since the start of fall, so early September, September 1. I mean, it's just been, come on now, we need to get some showers in here. So 3 weeks without a drop that mattered anyway. We had a trace. It means it's not measurable out at KCI. So finally, I think we're going to get some good, steady soaking rain in here. We have 2 events. One is tonight, and then a second one that comes in Thursday, tomorrow evening, and Friday. This one is not the main event. What we have tonight's like a weaker precursor. It's like a little appetizer before the main event comes on in by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night and Friday. So we have that. I want to talk about your weekend, updates that we see there. A new first warn for next week. We timed the weekend really well. It's in between systems. And then Thanksgiving. And we talked yesterday. If you joined us or if you've been watching on KCTV, there's this chance for some, 1, cold, and then 2, maybe a little snow. We'll see. So updates with all that coming in. Let's jump to it. So here's our radar. This is our radar over the past hour, and we already have some rain on that. How nice is that to see? Now, it's mainly north of the metro, but let's just go on a little tour here. Check it out, see what we got. There it is around Kansas City on the west side, maybe a little light thing. I mean, the air is really dry still. So Bonner Springs, Olathe, and then quickly moving into the 435 loop. A little bit of maybe a sprinkle on your windshield, that kind of thing. But this up here by Atchison and St. Joe and Stewartsville and up there by 29 north of the airport, that's, actual showers coming down. So good to see that. We're starting it off. So how does the rest of tonight look? Sorry, I'm seeing if my computer sometimes will let me advance. Good. It's working tonight. There we go. So here we are, 9 o'clock, and we're seeing that, batch of showers. It's scattered or patchy. Most of this is not going to be overly hefty, but in a spot or two, a quick little shower, maybe even a thunderstorm. You can see that south of Kansas City, that little stripe of red by Butler. There could be a quick thunderstorm in there, but most of us will not see that. And then by tomorrow morning, there's 6 a.m., maybe a quick little downpour left before the sun comes up. But really, we're thinking by the time we're at sunrise, it's going to be dry in Kansas City. So that system moves out. Then we'll actually make way for a pretty nice day on our Thursday. It's about 10 degrees warmer than today. It's cloudy pretty much all day long, but dry for most of the day. Again, if you're up early before the sun comes up, you might see a little bit. But it's not until after 6 p.m. So we're talking the daylight hours on Thursday, probably dry. But 6 p.m. and on Thursday night and into Friday, that's our wet stretch. Now, Friday, it could be wet most of the day. I'll probably have some dry hours in there. The wettest part does look to be the morning. The afternoon still probably has some rain. It just isn't going to be thinning out quite a lot by the afternoon. Some of the latest stuff says, yeah, probably will. Here, let me just show it to you. So here's Thursday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's cloudy, but we're dry. Now let's go deeper into the evening. There we are. All right, so this is by tomorrow night. We're at midnight. That's the main event surging in. And that sticks with us with rounds of rain, at times kind of heavy. There it is by Friday morning at 7 a.m., and that's good, steady downpours. So if we go from midnight till 7 a.m. with steady rain, and some of that's on the heavier side, we'll stack up some good rain totals out of that. The question is what happens after that. That might be the main event there. Some of our indications are that this will continue, and we are wet through much of Friday with just light rain. This one tries to push it out. I mean, not entirely. You can see how we're still kind of caught up and just hit and miss little light showers through 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but it may be a little bit wetter than that. We'll see. By evening, we're probably good. I think Friday evening plans generally going to be okay. So how much could we get out of this? Is it going to be meaningful rain? Yeah, I'm thinking so. Don't look specifically at one number. Don't look at Kansas City and say, oh, we're forecasting it's going to be 1.4 inches. So if we get 0.75, it was a bad forecast. That's not how we interpret this data. the way to look at this is to say what's kind of the spread in our area, and any of us could be really kind of any of these numbers. A half inch to an inch is the idea here for I-70 for Kansas City. We might luck out and get a couple spots that get over an inch and a half of rain. I think actually the better chance for that's probably going to be south of Kansas City. The most consistent trends have been generally heavier rain south, lighter rain north of Kansas City. And you can see that here. I mean, some of you up in northern Missouri may not get much at all out of this. We're just on the northern fringe of this system. But you get south of St. Joe, you probably get over a half inch, and you got a shot at an inch, and you even have a shot at over an inch and a half. So that's what we'll see. And an inch, give or take, is meaningful rain. I mean, that would take us out, knock off a fifth of our deficit. So good there. Then it's out of here. By the weekend, we just, again, we timed that perfectly because Saturday, we'll start with some clouds in the first half of the day as that system pulls away. And then the afternoon turns dry, or it's dry all day, turns more sunny. We'll be in the upper 50s. It's good. I mean, the normal high for this time of year is low 50s, so we'll beat it. And then Sunday's even better. I mean, we're at 62. Sunshine, a little bit of a breeze, but Sunday's nice. And we've got the Chiefs at home, too. Then we get into Monday. This is why we have a new first warn on Monday. We've had rain chances as we track this system, but now you can see what we see, and it looks pretty wet. All right, so that's 10 o'clock in the morning, and fairly widespread rain, steady soaking rain through much of the day could kind of come and go in a couple different waves. So that's how we start our Thanksgiving week. New first warn, rain at times on Monday, maybe a good chunk of the day. We'll see how that one plays out. Then Tuesday and into Wednesday, we're tracking our front. And this is that front that we've been saying, hey, this one's coming in out of the Arctic. And that's going to bring colder air in on or around Thanksgiving. Today, yesterday, so far this week, the timing has been the front passes on Wednesday. The cold air lags a little bit behind. We'll start it on Wednesday, but Thursday we're cold. What are we talking about when we say cold? I'm thinking highs in the upper 30s. If I were giving, it's just outside the 7-day forecast, but if I were giving a forecast for Thanksgiving, my high would probably be 38. So I'm not talking like, oh man, wind chills in the teens or, single digits. No, not that. But it's cold. I mean, that's chillier than our low temperature will be tonight. That'll be our high. And cold enough that we do have a low chance for snow. So when I showed the snow maps yesterday, both of our long-range computer forecasts present this chance for snow. So let's see what they're doing today. Here's model number 1. And it has doubled down on snow. It is saying, no, actually, not just a little bit. We could get some measurable snowfall that would cause travel trouble. If that plays out, we would have travel trouble. And then model number 2 says, oh, no. I pull my snow chance entirely. So it doesn't have anything. It's bone dry. It just brings in the cold air. So what do we do with this? This is common. This is what we see whenever we're forecasting the weather all the time. Meteorologists see this and they expect it. So what this means is there is a chance. We have indication for snow on Thanksgiving morning. The question is, how likely is that? And one way that we look at that is each of these models have their parent computer forecasts. And these are what we call ensembles. And each one of those takes little bitty tweaks at the starting point of the forecast. So that'd be today. And they say, all right, well, what if we start with the moisture being a little bit more, or a little bit less, or the temperature a little warmer, or the timing of the low a little bit here, a little bit slower, a little faster, makes all these different tweaks. And they run a whole bunch of those, and then you get a spread of the possible ranges of, if we make all these little tweaks. And when you see that, you have a pretty good idea of what's possible. How reasonable of a scenario would snow be? And both of them indicate that we've got about a 30% chance. So the odds that we have snow on Thanksgiving, about 30%. And if we got it, it probably wouldn't be a ton. It'd probably be, it's not like this would be a whopper anyway. First snowflakes of the season, a dusting to an inch, that kind of, I just get that idea out there. But an inch of snow on Thanksgiving morning would cause some problems. This is worth watching. This is not worth worrying over. This is something that we will just watch the trends each and every day. It's something that has our attention. We're not doing it to hype anything up. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I just want you to see it, because if it does play out that way and the low chance but higher impact event does occur, then you will have been ready for it, and you could have, started to have it on your radar. That's the whole point. And whenever we're talking about, what do we do with first warn weather? Whenever I see something or our team sees something and it's worth talking about and it's not just total junk, we're going to tell you about it. And that's not total junk. It's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. So there we are. That's our snow talk. There's camera again. I'm not seeing rain in KC, not yet, but we probably will have a little bit tonight. 47 is our low by tomorrow morning, and we may have a little fog mix in too. It depends on if that rain is going to bring us enough moisture overnight tomorrow morning, so watch out for that. Otherwise, 40s and 50s with a largely dry day, but here comes the rain chance after 5, 6, 7, really after 7 is whenever it's a decent chance. And by 9 o'clock, you're up to a 50% odds. Highs up north, going to be in the upper 50s. Looks like low 60s, around 60 or so. 10 degrees warmer than today, 10 degrees warmer than normal for KC and the surrounding area, and about low 60s to our south. Northeast winds at 5 to 10. Not bad. Friday, 54. Rain chance is higher on Friday than Thursday, 80%. Count on rain Friday. And then your weekends, oh, man, so good. 2 good weekends. It's not as good as last weekend. Last weekend was amazing. But I'll take that, especially how we timed it. There's Monday with the next round coming in. Tuesday at 52, could have some morning showers. Then dry Wednesday and 40s. We're going down, so there's the cold air coming in. But the coldest day right now, as we look ahead, and we can look out accurately about, depending on the setup, about 10 to 12 days. And right now it looks like the coldest day is going to be on Thanksgiving. We will see. Okay. Let's see if we got any questions here. All right, Dakota. Yes, I agree. Enjoy that weekend, man. It's going to be nice. Dakota's asking, how much snow do I think we would get if we got snow on Thanksgiving? Adjusting to an inch. Who knows? Nobody, a snow forecast 8 days out is a tricky proposition. But what I would say is that this is not the type of system that typically brings big, heavy snow. They're fast moving. It doesn't have a ton of moisture to work with. We're not seeing indications that, hey, this could be 6 inches of snow. I don't see that. It could bring some light accumulation. Adjusting to an inch would be reasonable as a guess if it happens at all. What we need and if we want to get snow, we need it's a dance of timing between the cold air, which, it's got to be below freezing through the entire column. Whenever I say column, I mean from ground all the way up into the atmosphere. We have to have the moisture in place, and we have to have whatever is going to lift the atmosphere to cause snow. So like an upper level low is what we're going to be tracking. Will the low, the cold air, the moisture be in the same place at the same time over us on Thanksgiving morning to produce snow? That's quite a dance to try to assemble. That's why the odds are only 30%, but it is possible. So that's that. Zachary, is it going to snow next week? Maybe. It's possible. Winter prediction. Winter prediction is going to be a lot like last year. So if we think back to what last year was, we had a La Nina for part of the winter. That's how this year looks to play out too, though we're starting it earlier. Whenever we have a La Nina, we typically have broad scale, warmer than normal conditions with brief but intense cold snaps. We're going to have a intense cold snap, though I don't know if it's going to be brief, as we go late November into December. So the polar vortex is the buzzword. But that's going to be it's going to be disrupted and setting up cold air intrusions for us as we get into December. So we'll probably get several shots of cold air as we start the month of December. So the start of winter is probably going to bring a fair number of those cold snaps. Will they linger through the rest of the winter? We'll see. But probably, just to be brief, is on the whole warmer than normal, but memorable cold snaps, just a few of them. And same thing with snow. We won't have a lot of snowy days, but the snow, whenever it comes, it's going to stick and you'll get, plows out, that kind of thing. That'd be my best guess. But, honestly, those long-range predictions, unless there's a really strong signal, they're only so useful. We can only give like the slightly higher chance for whatever. Now, La Nina and El Nino, that means a lot if you're in the Southwest, for example, in their monsoon season. It has a big impact there. For us in the middle part of the country, they don't have nearly as much of a signal, a strong impact. So we're kind of on that line. But generally, that's what we see. Put up the Christmas lights. That would be a good weekend to do it. You would say somewhere between Model 1 and Model 2. Yes, Alan. That's a good point. It's not A or B. Sometimes that's the range. And anywhere between that's kind of the way it could play out. So, okay, everybody, there's the update for you. We will have new stuff on KCTV5 at 10 o'clock. We'll be tracking that rain for tonight, tomorrow. And I'm going to be looking, as soon as I'm off here, at the snow stuff and see if there's anything I got to tweak for that. So rest assured, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be keeping close eyes on all this. There's a lot to track tonight, Thursday, Friday, Monday, and then Thanksgiving. There's a lot to keep a hold of, but we'll do our best to walk you through it. So we'll see you there. In the meantime, have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Hope it was helpful. We'll see you next time.